This is the Pit Pass Podcast. We are back for episode 5, I think, and it's taken a while. I'm Mark Askelson, Kalvin Kesselberg, my co-host alongside me. It's been a little bit, Kalvin. We've been busy.
Yeah, the dog days of summer are here, so apologize for the delay, but hopefully we have some good content with this one, and hopefully we can follow it up too.
Yeah, so I'm going to correct you. It is not the dog days of summer yet.
Oh, not yet.
No,
It
that's
feels
not
like
till
it.
you actually probably have been in the dog days here a little bit. It's maybe it has been a little bit of dog days. That typically doesn't come till like August, like when the car show is way over, and guys have been battling hard all season long, and they just said, you know what, I'm done with it. I'm over it. You're going to the wall, or this and that, and
Yeah, I guess that would kind of be the dog days. But
that's the dog days of summer. I can't. That's my favorite time of year is when I get to use that line at some point. But yeah, no. But you've been busy. We've got a handful of races in.
yeah,
We kicked off the season at Norman County Raceway this past week. Kind of getting into the mix of things. We had Outlaws in Fargo, so I mean it's here now.
it's been busy. Yep, we've had a few NLRA shows. The Norman County Raceway show last Thursday, that was an NLRA show. So that's kind of wild. Do an NLRA late model show for the opener, and
Yeah.
it went pretty smooth. I mean, the racing was good, and
For opening night, I think it went really, really well. We had some issues with timing and scoring there for a little bit. That always happens on
It
opening
always-
night.
yeah.
It doesn't matter if we come the day before and test it out and everything works great.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Opening day, I guarantee you the scoreboard's not going to work.
Yeah.
And that's about the way on almost every single track.
well, even when we took the Pit Pass podcast on the road and went out to Mandan at
Yep.
the Dakota Speedway, they were having
Same thing.
issues out there as well. So first night blues, get her figured out.
Yeah, but overall it went really, really well. I think my perspective up in the announcing booth, kicking off, I think my 12th season announcing there at NCR went really well. I'm starting to feel pressure now. The more I do this, like, to perform. Like, I don't know why it is, but I'm like, I have to keep getting better and better.
Well, like you being around racing as much as you are as well. You have a competitive nature.
Yeah.
It's just the nature of racing, so you want to outdo yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think also part of it is too they've really improved the sound system at the racetrack, so I know people can hear me now. But years before it's like they can't even hear me anyways. But now it's like I know they can hear me,
Yeah.
and so I better talk. And if I don't talk, Jake's gonna yell at me to start talking. So
Yeah, especially because a lot of times it's on Racing on the Radio too, isn't it?
Yep.
Like on
Yep.
KRJB. So, radio time can't really have dead air.
no, can't have dead air at all. So and that's the thing that haunted me from back in my radio days is dead air would give me nightmares. So.
That was actually when we got into the podcast. That was my biggest fear.
Yeah, and that is the thing, because most people who don't do radio a lot or interview a lot, they're worried that they're talking too slowly or too
Yep.
long at gaps. I'm kind of the opposite. I probably talk too fast. But, like, really that 1 or 2 seconds of not saying anything,
Yeah.
like, nobody notices. So it's just normal conversation. But things are going well for you. I want to talk about that. You're, 5 races in, right?
Yep. 5 races,
2 wins.
2 wins, 5 top 5s. So you can't really ask for more than that. I mean, that's both season openers,
Yeah.
Red River Valley Speedway and Norman County Raceway. So, that was pretty cool. And then the second week in Fargo, we ran very competitively. I mean, we were up to third, I think, for a little bit. But,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just it's a grind. You know, we're only early in the season, but it's a grind to stay on top of everything and
Yep.
keep the maintenance going and keep the drive going. You win a race. I mean, it's not just show up and unload and win. The race is won during the week in the shop.
If everything goes well in the race and you don't bump anyone and it's a smooth track, it's probably a pretty easy week, right?
Yep, pretty basic. I mean, you're still, there's things that happen every week that you do no matter what, so you should always be washing tires, staying on top of that, check in. Like with the stock car, we have stock trailing arm bushings.
Okay.
So that is huge. There's a lot of people that overlook that. That's one big area that you need to stay on top of because they don't last. You need to grease them so they're free.
Yep.
But when you grease them, that attracts dirt. Now you need to clean them. So if you start doing it, you got to stay on top of it. Otherwise, it'll hurt you more than it'll help you. But tires, that oil changes, just basic maintenance, fluid changes, filter changes, staying on top of all that it's a lot of work. I mean, it's a lot of work, but that's when it's all one.
On top of a normal, regular, busy life,
Yeah.
and things like that. Now, we had a weekend, Fargo, the first 2 weeks were complete polar opposites. Like, you had opening week was as good of a track as you ever could have asked
Textbook, Visser grading,
Yep.
racetrack.
Dry, slick, top to bottom.
Beautiful. Race wherever you want.
Yep.
Johnny Carter and I had a phenomenal race. I had a blast. I mean, we got out and high-fived, and, I mean, it was great after. And, just clean racing. Like, that's one thing, like, running next to Johnny, you can always count on that. He's not going to run you over. He's not going to bump you. He's not going to try to slide up and squeeze you off or nothing.
Yep.
Just good, clean racing. I mean, he would pull me in 1 and 2.
Yep.
And then 3 and 4, I could catch him. And we just went the whole, I don't know what, probably 10, 12 laps like that.
Easily 12 laps, yeah.
I mean, and that was just good. I mean, if you didn't like that race, you didn't like.
And you had to
racing.
make kind of a bold move to get to the lead. I mean, you had to dive, bomb 3
I think we were 4 wide.
Yeah, 4 wide to
checker.
3. Yeah.
Or coming to the flag stand.
Yeah. So you got that done. And then the next week in Fargo, we had 3 inches of rain that week. And it was, I mean, Fargo, when you get a lot of water in it, it is hard to get out. You're just going to have they did everything they can to keep it as smooth as possible, but you're just going to have a rough track.
Yeah,
I mean, at times.
That's one of them deals where I'm really glad I'm not a track promoter. Because, like the whole state of North Dakota canceled.
Yeah.
Right? Like they had already canceled for the weekend. And, Fargo and like they were going back and forth, and we got some nice weather and the top was starting to dry off. I mean, it was looking like, okay, we're going to flip this thing over and pack it in.
Well, you don't have to worry about their pits there because they're gravel. So they're going to be dry no matter what.
Yep.
So that's a huge advantage.
Yep. So then, they were kind of going back and forth and canceling or not canceling. Well, the problem is, okay, say you do cancel on Wednesday. Mm-hmm. Well, you're going to get persecuted because it's nice on Friday and you didn't race, right?
Yep.
But then you don't cancel and the sun went down, the moisture came out. I mean, what do you expect? I mean, so the heat races, I was actually like surprised. I mean, it was dusty and dry and smooth, and I'm like, this is going to be all right. Like, this is going to be pretty good. And then the sun went down and it dropped, 10 degrees?
Yep.
15
easily.
degrees? Cool. Moisture came out.
And that track's known for that. When the sun comes down, it just comes up. The top side, though, seems slick.
Yeah.
Watching you guys, I don't know if it was like a dry slick
was,
or like just a slimy slick or.
Maybe, I don't know if I want to say slimy, but it was. There was still traction there, but it was smooth.
Okay.
Where like the bottom was all traction.
Yeah.
But, when you run through that, you tear up racetracks.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what happened. It was just, there was some ruts and holes and, people hit them and.
If it could be faster at time on the bottom, or you could run the top side smooth and stay out of the ruts. That you saw. So there were still a couple lines there going on, guys. If Brody Carlsrud won it in the stock cars on the top, and I think that was the case for a few guys. Versus Austin Verrilrud in the sport mod won it on the bottom.
Yep.
He had a perfect line in 1 and 2 where you can kind of avoid the holes, and he's great in that type of condition. And he drove right by Ryan Rested. I mean, like he was standing still almost. So. 2 totally different lines. So if you could drive to the bottom and make it smooth, but now coming after, I wanted to talk about the maintenance after a track like that because that's when you start wrecking things, or maybe if you don't, you got to check a lot of things over, I imagine, because you don't know what you're bent, what you wrecked, what's gotten loose. So talk to me about how you approach after a night like that, like what you're looking for and what some of the problems
biggest thing after after a rough track like that, it's not. Stuff's probably not going to break on a track like that. Where you're going to notice it is 2, 3, 4 nights after.
Okay.
Because stuff fatigues on those rough tracks. And then you race it, and maybe it hasn't broke yet, but it's on its way to breaking, and you don't quite catch it during the week. So now that's when you break axles.
Okay.
Or you blow out U-joints or bushings or, the weeks after that is really when, so you gotta some ways to just stay on top of that is just take stuff apart. I mean, reset your hubs. I had to retighten all my wheel bearings in the back because they had backed out, especially on the right rear. Just do that. Check the springs. Your springs on a rough track like that, they'll collapse, they'll clamshell, they'll distort. Shocks, tracks like that, very hard on shocks. Especially, all a shock has in it for a valve is just a small, 10 thousandths thick shim. They're just little washers. Well, you get them on a rough track, and those things flex and they're made to move, and that's that's how you adjust valving, and that's what your valving is how much tension it takes to move that valve in the shock. Well, if you get on a rough racetrack like that, those little discs don't take abuse. I've seen them where they've, like on a left rear shock, because you run like a lot of compression. So like a common shock is like a 10-2.
Okay.
So you'd run like a lot of shim stack on the compression side, and then the rebound side a lot of times is just like a 6 thousandths thick little shim. Well, like those, I've seen them where like people have raced them on a rough track, and that shim is like broke apart and it sucked itself into the piston like of the shock. And and you don't really catch that, because like when you pull out a shock, like the correct way to catch that is on a shock dyno.
Yeah.
Giving her the old hand dyno, like just taking it off and pushing it down, you're not really testing anything. You're maybe if there's gas pressure, still in it, like if it still comes out, obviously there's still gas in it, so it hasn't blown out completely. But you'll never know, like on that rebound side. It'll still pop out.
It'll still perform, but it won't be performing like it's supposed to.
Like it should be, yeah.
Yep.
Yep. So if you put that thing on a shock dyno, your graph is going to be all goofy.
Okay.
So that's just a good, and I'm very lucky here that we have a shock dyno. So like I can, when I get my shocks from Colin,
yep.
I dyno them just so I have a baseline.
Yep.
And then that way, if I get a rough track like that or whatever, I can just pop them off and dyno them quick, make sure that they're, and that's the service that we do here at the store at Performance Auto.
Okay.
Is, if someone wants their shocks dyno, we'll dyno them, and then we print out a sheet and whatever. It won't tell you, a dyno will never tell you like, oh, this shock is a 4.5 or a 4.4. It'll never tell you that. It'll just tell you like the graph, if it's got smooth, consistent lines. Okay, well, everything inside's probably okay.
Okay.
But yeah, that's some stuff to stay on top of, and check U-joints, check your axles, make sure they're not bent. Just there's a lot of things that come after, in the weeks after, on a rough racetrack. It's hard on equipment, but I don't know. I kind of do like a little character in a track. It brings out a driver.
It does. It's sometimes when it's a hammer down track, it can be a guy that's up front and can maybe favor a guy that's got a good motor, or maybe they'll happen to be whoever's up front, kind of, right?
Yep.
But when it's got some character, you gotta tame that track. It's not so much it's taming the track, right?
Yep. You have to figure out different lines too. Like, so say there is holes, right? Okay, well maybe I can come in high in one and dive down and cut underneath the holes or something coming out of two. So it makes you really like break down a track differently than you normally would. Especially like Red River Valley Speedway. Usually that place is a momentum. If you can get rolling around there and just keep your momentum and keep it up and just stay smooth and consistent, you don't always have to have the most side bite or traction, or if you can just keep that momentum going. Where if you get on a track like we had a couple weeks ago, it makes you really break down how you're driving it, and maybe you have to slow down in this corner to be fast out of this one.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Awesome. So you're 5 races into it. How much stuff have you broken? Or how much stuff have you replaced? This is just kind of a kind of curious question to see how many things have you replaced or done, 5 nights into a year, and which has been a pretty good start to the year.
Yep.
You finished all the races, top 5 every night. How much stuff have you replaced?
After the second week in Fargo, that was both uppers because they were blown out. Bent the lower control arm, so that was one. Other than that, not too much, trailing rear bushings.
Okay.
I've already blown out. Well, that Friday, I blew out a set on the top of the housing. I blew them out in the heat race. I had a spare set. We threw them in, blew them out in the feature. So, people that don't check that, they're missing a big part of their stock car program. But
did you wreck some stuff in Mandan too, or I'm trying to remember.
You were concerned. We had contact, but no. Surprisingly, no.
Okay, you thought maybe there was.
Yeah, because usually like
damage.
our cars, you bend if you touch wheels, the rear end's bent, right?
Okay.
Surprisingly, it's straight.
Okay.
And I've, in that Fargo, the second week there, I did, we had some contact, and I was surprised there. I mean, everything came out right. I did all my usual checks. And
how many sets of tires have you gone through?
Tires, oh boy, I got a stack of them. I'm probably in a dozen tires at least.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you probably a little harder on tires, or more opt to replace them than maybe others, or?
What I try to do, like especially on a right rear, like so I race 8 of Fargo, right?
Okay.
Like normally, like my normal plan, I race 8 of Fargo, so that's Thursday, Friday. So what I'll do is usually I put new tires on in Ada, and then I'll run them that night just for the feature.
Yep.
I scuff them for Friday. I'll grind them, do all that, and then usually the right rear I flip.
Okay.
So because they'll start feathering, and I'll flip them and then run them, and then like that week I'll wash. Like I'll I'll just pressure wash. All I use is a hot pressure washer. That's it. Just pressure wash all the mud off of it as soon as I can, so they're not sitting drying out from the mud. And pressure wash them. Then I'll kind of reassess. Sometimes I can get another weekend out of them.
Okay.
Especially if tracks kind of have some moisture in them, or whatever. They're not usually hard on tires.
Okay. But when you race a lot of dry slick,
then it's pretty much for sure right rear week.
Okay.
There's other people that they don't touch the track without 4 new tires, which I'll never be at that level. I will never want to, need to.
Yeah.
I don't like switching tires that much, but
yeah.
One thing I've found like with our IMCA tires is grooving them, and I don't groove them aggressively. I just open up the outside edge, and then there's like little slices in the side that aren't open.
Mm-hmm.
I just open all those up like with a number 4 blade. That in itself has really helped the tire from feathering over.
Okay.
Because like our tires, when we just siped them, they would feather over really bad. So like one lip or whatever would kind of stick up. So then the next night, I just flip it around so then that high side is on the outside. But yeah.
All right. So the one thing also I wanted to talk to you about, again, 5 starts, 5 top 5s, couple wins. You have a new mustache this year, or a mustache, I guess.
Yeah.
Is that the Lucky Charm? Is it the Lucky Lip Sweater?
I don't know. The Lucky Lip Sweater. That's T-shirt worthy right there. I kind of lost a bet, or like,
Yeah. So where did this all come from?
Well, so when we were out in Mandan, my favorite Wishick clan, okay,
Yep.
Andrew Jokum and their family and all them.
Yep.
I had some facial hair. I was getting a little scraggly.
Your hair was getting pretty rough too.
Hair's long.
You were looking a little homely to start the season.
I did, yeah. I mean, it was, I was just kind of going for it. My plan was to grow a mullet.
Okay.
I was going to grow a mullet. And then I lost that one with Haley, and she wanted to cut.
Yeah.
So, got to keep the woman happy, right?
Yep.
So then they're like, well, you should grow a mustache. I'm like, that'd be terrible. So I went out to Mandan the second week, and the night before I was like, God, you know what? I'm going to do it. Well, I'm new to the mustache game, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I go to trim it, straight up, borderline, not quite Hitler stash.
Okay.
Almost. It was bad, but I rocked it anyway, right? Drove my happy butt up to like a 3rd place finish, I think. So then I was like, God, maybe there's some luck here. Well, then the next week in Fargo, that was the opener.
You won it.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm going to shave this thing off. And everyone's like, no, you got to keep it. Like, what if you win?
Yeah.
What if you win? Then you got to keep it. Then it's your good luck. Well, stars aligned. We won. Call it luck. Call it the mustache. Call it the lucky lip sweater. I don't know. But, yeah. So, I think it's here to stay. Keep an eye out for T-shirts. We'll have T-shirts from Temu. No, I'm just kidding.
I think it is a good look for you. I like the clean-cut hair and then the mustache.
Yeah.
I think it's a good look. The mullet, I was getting a little scraggy there for a while. I wish I could rock a mustache. I mean, I can. I have plenty of facial hair, but I think I'll stick with the beard. I don't think my wife would.
So now that I got it going, now I have to achieve Pat Dorr status.
Oh.
If you've seen Pat Dorr. Pat Dorr has a majestic mustache.
He's got the greatest mustache and all. Like
next,
there's Dale Earnhardt, then there's Pat Dorr.
Yes, absolutely, in that order. Yeah.
And then Calvin Kesselberg somewhere a little bit along the list.
Yeah, I mean, I'm down there. I'm new to the game.
Yeah.
Jory Berg, he's up there.
Jory Berg would be.
Jory and Tim Berg, they got
They got style to their stash.
Yeah, see, but style to their stash.
So
But
now you
they're-
got to get like a sponsorship deal with them now with Berg and his box
You know,
car.
I've been working on it. You know,
Okay.
Jory, if you're listening,
Join the team.
Boxcar. If you got one more opening, I could use a T-shirt.
Yeah. Maybe they could sponsor the podcast.
That'd be good.
Let's talk, Jory. Let's talk.
But yeah, now that it's here, like you have to finish it out, right? Like you have to keep going.
You got to keep riding until at least till you DNF or something,
Yeah.
right?
So then the next thing, right, for the store, I was like, we need a mascot. Like, so, I'm thinking, and I was talking to Jake about it. I'm like, I'm going to come up with a mascot that's just far out there, right?
Okay.
Mike Honcho.
Oh.
Talladega Nights.
There you go.
Yep.
I like it.
I'm not going to do no full spread or nothing, but, I mean, just a little spirit animal or something.
So now that you got the mustache, the Lucky Lip sweater, that's kind of like you got to keep it. Kind of a superstition thing now, right?
Yep.
I want to talk a little about some of the other superstitions in racing because there's a lot that I didn't know about, and there's some out there. Maybe each driver kind of has their own. I remember I heard one guy doesn't eat chicken on race day, right?
Yep.
Other things, and you're right. Just maybe a word of advice versus a superstition, but what are some of the other superstitions that you know about or maybe follow? Or
Racers are very superstitious, and actually, like on the comments of this podcast, like, what are your superstitions?
Yeah,
like we want to know. But mine, can't have green on a race car.
And that's one that I heard about recently that I didn't know.
Green on a race car is bad. And actually, like Mitch Johnson won in Buffalo River Speedway on Sunday.
He's won a couple weeks in a row.
And
Matt Scow won in his B-Mod.
Yeah, and I mean, like you look at them guys, and it's like all green. It's
Yep.
like, this is backwards. Something's wrong here. But maybe they're so unlucky that the green brings them good luck.
It could be. And maybe some people are immune to it. And obviously
Yeah.
Mitch Johnson has because he's won everything under the sun in the
Yeah.
late model in the last 30 years. So
See, I'm not. I put a green sticker on my car one time. Actually, now I think I have another one. Yeah, thanks, Goose River Paintball. Bring me bad luck. No, I'm just kidding. I put one on there one time, and I think it was for, like, the season championship or something. Like, I was actually in it for the points. Take the green flag. Car loops it right in front of me. Smoke the right front. Like, ripped it off, right? Couldn't
Oh.
finish. So I was like, okay, well, I learned my lesson there. Another one, can't wash your helmet. You
Can't wash your helmet?
Nope, you can't wash your helmet. It's bad luck.
Really?
You can clean your shield because that just makes sense.
that's just
but if
maintenance.
you can't wash your helmet. If you
You can't
nope,
nothing?
can't wipe it off. You got to leave the mud chunks on it too.
Okay.
Yep. So I leave all the mud on it. I leave everything. I clean the shield, but cannot wash your helmet. If you wash your helmet and you have bad luck, you're welcome.
Okay. Now we know. Maybe there's someone out there like, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'd see me, I'd be like washing that bad boy every week,
Yeah,
try and shine it off, right?
Nope. Bad luck.
All right.
Bad luck. Laces untucked.
Okay.
You know, like I tie my laces and I have like a Velcro strap over them.
Yep.
You got to tuck your laces in.
Okay.
If you don't have tucked in laces, that's bad luck.
Well, I think that's just smart because the last thing you want is like your laces getting stuck on a pedal or something.
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like
I
that's just smart.
You don't want to be in the heat of battle and have a loose shoe.
Yeah.
You know? But nope, laces tucked in, that's bad luck. I don't eat on race day. I don't eat till after.
Like
At all.
You don't eat lunch.
I don't eat lunch or nothing. No.
That's why you're so
Maybe
crabby
like
after the races.
Maybe a candy bar or something, but
See, I'm kind of the opposite, and it depends on where I'm going and what I'm doing. I usually eat the same thing. Like in Ada, Subway sandwich.
yeah.
I get a 6-inch spicy Italian on herbs and cheese, pepper jack, bacon.
Do you get
lettuce.
toasted?
No, I don't
You
get
toasted sub guy?
No, not
No?
a toasted sub guy.
No, so Quiznos wouldn't be for you.
I mean, maybe I liked it, but at Subway, no. I also we're pizza and podcasting it up here today, by the way,
Yes.
courtesy of West Main Pizza.
Yes, it was
They-
delicious.
I mean, they didn't like sponsor it or anything, but we got to support your sponsor and local pizza
Yes.
company.
Thanks, Todd Sorry and family.
Yep, they fueled us for many years. Any other superstitions that you know of?
Oh man, yeah. I feel like there's a lot out there, and I'm gonna remember them on my drive home tonight. But
Do you have a certain routine you get in before? I mean, you're not in there listening to music on your headphones, getting hyped up or anything. Like,
No.
you don't have any like.
I usually try to get in my car. I guess that would be a superstition. I don't like sitting in my car.
Okay.
Like I'm not one to like be the first to staging.
Yep.
Because like you just overthink stuff. Like I have a plan in my head, but I'm watching the races, I'm watching the track, I'm trying to just keep in mind, have a plan, stick to the plan.
Yep.
You get in the car and you're alone with your thoughts. So then now you're starting to like rethink your plan and like redo all that. So I'm the last one to staging pretty much all the time.
I have noticed that.
Yep.
You push the issue, and that kills me because I'm 100% the opposite. I cannot do that. I'm a guy that's always 10 minutes early.
Yep.
If I'm, so I'd probably be the first one in staging every race.
Yep. And usually like especially like my job and stuff like that, like I'm big. I was raised like that way, like to be early is to be on time. To be on time is to be late.
Yep.
I've been raised that way, like it's bred into me. But I try to sit. This sounds so stupid, but if it's, I have been late like to a heat race a couple times, but usually it's because like I'm pumping fuel or something at the racetrack. So like cut me some slack there. But I try to watch the heat race right before us. Whether I watch the first 3 laps or 2 laps or whatever, just to get an idea of like, okay, where is it changing? Where's it going to? And then I can get in really quick. So I just get in and drive straight to staging pretty much as soon as we're going out. Just so I'm already locked in. I'm in. I don't have any, you don't have time to sit and like overthink everything. Mm-hmm. It's just go with it. Just be smart, but just go with it.
Absolutely. Bison Battle's coming up, Kalvin.
Yes,
talk about the Bison Battle. That's something that's I think you've been helping out or working a lot on. Like, talk about the Bison Battle. Hopefully this podcast gets out before then and we get it online. But nonetheless, tell me about Bison Battle.
This year should be an exciting year. We've got first off, like Riley Hatfield, formerly El Dorado.
Yep.
He's put a ton of work. This has been his baby since the beginning of it. So he's put in a ton of work on that. Rounding everything up, I mean, it would not happen without him. We've had some badass trophies in the past years. Mm-hmm. He is the brains behind that. I mean, he is, and this year I think we're going to top it again. So keep an eye out for that. Frank Neisen from Corey's Car Care Center, he's kind of helped out a lot with the, he's the main sponsor of the stock cars.
Okay.
And then I guess kind of last year, maybe it was even the year before, but kind of I was asked to help out a little bit, or that was last year. So I kind of really work on it at our end for kind of all classes, both classes participating, working on contingency stuff. So this year we have products from All-Star Performance, Kaiser Manufacturing, Quick Car Racing. There's a lot of product that they donate or sponsored. Longacre, AFCO, Willwood, Weirs, Real Racing Wheel, Aero Racing Wheel, Gorsuch Performance, Kaiser Manufacturing. I mean, there is a ton. M&J Auto Parts, Napa Central. So like what we try to do, I guess really I should break down what the Bison Battle is.
I was just going to say, we should talk about what is the Bison Battle there, Kalvin?
So the Bison Battle is a one-day show at Red River Valley Speedway, and we planned it so it's on the Friday before the Don Gumke race in Jamestown.
Okay.
And then you can go to like Minot on Sunday. So that was kind of our plan with it, is just to try to get it to an event that people put on their calendar and maybe make a swing through North Dakota. So it's a one-day show at Red River Valley Speedway. So it's an old school pill draw. So you walk up to the ticket shack just like back in the day.
Nice.
You draw a poker chip. We write your number down on a board, on a whiteboard.
My favorite, by the way, back in the day was the matchbooks.
Oh yeah.
Back in the day, I used to be matchbooks when
maybe
everyone smoked.
that'll be the next one.
Yeah.
So we have poker chips. So you draw a poker chip. That's your number. That sets up your qualifying. So we do a 2-lap qualifying, or 1 lap. I think it's 2. So that sets up your qualifying order. So then what we usually do is we have, we'll have like a support class. They'll go out, run their first sets of heat races. We'll go out and qualify. And then that, right out of qualifying, we'll line up heat races and just start racing. So it's one heat race, B mains if we need to, and then the A main. This year it's 2,000 to win, 200 to start modifieds.
Wow.
And 1,250, 100 to start stock cars.
Not bad.
And like our biggest goal with it is not to make it like a Dolly Parton purse. where like you advertise like, yeah, we're 5,000 to win, but second place is $150.
Ah, yeah,
So
that whole trick.
Yes.
That whole bait and switch thing there.
So our payout goes all the way back to we pay out really well all the way back to like 10th.
Okay.
And then 10th on back is all whatever the 100 to start or whatever, which I think usually it's 50 to start.
Yep.
So that, and then like that. So then what we do is we sell laps. So then we'll sell laps, so the stock car race is 25 laps and the modified race is 30. So we sell like those 30 laps, and that money goes into the 10th on back purse. So we're really, it's a racers event. So we're trying to make it so, you're maybe not going to really bring a lot of fans and whatever, but we're trying to repay the racer.
Okay.
So with all the contingency stuff, all the payout stuff, I mean, it's all with the racer in mind. So all the extra money that we get, it all goes to the back half of the purse, just to help,
Well, it means a lot being a racer. Like you getting a little extra something, whether it's whatever, a gift card or whatever, or some sort of part or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's a nice little gift, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's usually those things cost money, and just a little extra on the side has got to be nice. I mean, it's a good way to probably to celebrate the racers,
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
Like, show your support for the racers, right?
Yep.
I mean, we talk about showing support for the track and showing support for the sponsors, and whatever else, but sometimes you got to celebrate the racers too.
Absolutely.
And kind of give them their keep, because ultimately they're the ones putting their car and whatever else on the line there.
Yep. Fans are important, but racing wouldn't happen without fans.
Yep.
But racing also wouldn't happen without racers.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's it's hard to stay in it, but really excited for that event. What was it? 2 years ago, it was the Dave Shipley, Colin Hibden, and Aaron Johnson finish.
Oh yeah,
that one. And I think our highlight on Red River Valley Speedway only showed the like green white or the green checkered.
Yep.
But the laps before that, they were all three, haymaker slide jobs. I mean, we had a rain delay that night too, but that was a barn burner. That was, if we can see anything close to that good again, I mean, that would. And
the modifieds have really stepped up their game this year. We've seen a lot of cars this year in Fargo.
Yeah.
Stock cars have kind of done the opposite.
Yeah.
And I don't know, and I think that'll change throughout the year a little bit, but we saw a good turnout last week, I guess. But in Fargo,
there's still people farming, and some guys still don't have their cars done, and that'll all change. That class, it'll always kind of grow and shrink a little bit, but it's so competitive too,
Yeah.
So it's one of those deals where if you're not 100% ready, like those guys, you're not showing up because that,
Yeah.
But
so looking forward to that. The Bison battle. We still got to work on Brothers Bison Ranch getting a. I don't know if we'll ever get a live bison out there, but maybe we'll work on getting maybe
something wild, because isn't it? It's the Wild West Shootout that has like the live bull, doesn't it?
Yeah,
And then you
get to ride it.
God, that'd be cool. We'll
see what we can do. All right.
I think I'd still find a way to crash a bison though.
Oh, I think a bison will crash into you.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't end.
They're pretty good for that.
It'd be cool. I mean, at least get it on video.
Yeah.
Do that, but it'd be good publicity.
So what's the trophy this year? Do you know?
Well, I mean, I can't fully disclose what it is, but
okay.
There will be a bison head.
Okay.
I can disclose that, but yeah, it's fully custom right from the brainchild himself.
So does that mean Colin Hibden's going to come up and race it? Or?
I think Colin's coming.
Okay, because he's on a tear down at Marshalltown right now.
Yeah, he's been running good. So he's got that Longhorn deal now.
Yep.
He's rebranded Eldorado to Awesome Motorsports.
Yep.
So that's worked out well for him, and he just moved down there just for more racing. He's closer. I mean, I think where he lives, I think he's got a racetrack. I think he's got 4 or 5 racetracks within an hour of him. That's, yeah.
Which we do too, but not all of them are IMCA modifieds.
Right,
It's kind of crazy when you think about it from here in Fargo. Jamestown, Lisbon, Fergus, Ada.
Yep.
River Cities.
Glendon. Yep. Fargo.
Grand
Forks.
Yeah, we are pretty lucky to have as much access to racetracks as we do.
And one thing that we've really been lucky to see is, I mean, we've had, 3 racetracks that have closed and reopened?
Yep.
So you don't see that. Usually around the country, if a racetrack closes, it dies. It becomes a parking lot right away. But we've been very fortunate, so, we got to make sure that we keep supporting those tracks and keep racing alive.
Absolutely. World of Outlaws were in Fargo here this past week. Sprint cars, the first time they've had 2 dates here in a while. And I know it does bug me that when the Outlaws come to Grand Forks and Fargo, like all the hype is on Grand Forks.
Yeah.
I mean, rightfully so. Grand Forks is great. Like it is a great track. But come on, we're here. We're right now. It's like we're right here. Like I hear you. It's like we're in the room. Like come on, we're a good track too. But that one of Gibson's favorite track is River Cities, and we're trying to change that.
It was
in
fantastic
Fargo.
racing.
It was a really good race. Track was good. We had a few hiccups.
Give us a behind the scenes breakdown.
So first thing, I arrived around probably 3 o'clock, 2:30, 3 o'clock, and Jake was already in loading up on happy pills because we found out that the parking lot, or the fans didn't have access to the full parking lot that was close by, like the main parking lot. Kind of a miscommunication there, I think, or just I don't know if it was a miscommunication. It was just unfortunate. It was supposed to be paved a week before, but it is what it is. It just sucks when you're one of the biggest races of the year.
Yes.
And now fans don't have access to the main parking lot, right?
Yeah.
So whatever, we brush it off. Nothing we can do about it, right? So we get started watering, and Jake or someone. Well, Jake was driving, but it was not his fault. One of the water trucks, like the hub, like I don't know what, all the bolts like sheared off.
Yeah,
in the hub.
The bolts snapped off the axle.
Yeah.
On the hub.
And so we immediately kind of went into kind of crisis management mode. That was because there was no way we were going to get that track ready with just one water truck. Because Bruce was going for a while, and we're trying to work on this, see what we can do and figure out what's wrong with the other water truck. But we weren't getting enough water down fast enough. So we're trying to figure out we need both water trucks. And this is kind of where you go into crisis management, where you can do 3 things. The best thing you can do is the right thing. The next thing you can do is the wrong thing. And the third thing you could do is do nothing at all.
Yep.
That's the worst thing you could do is do nothing. So that's what we ended up doing was probably the wrong thing, but it was fine. So I give him so much credit. Where else do you see a promoter on his hands and knees? Me and Adam found
wheel. We
found a welder. We're trying to figure out, can we jam a bolt in there? Can we make it stick? What can we do? Can we weld it? The first thing didn't work. So then the second, okay, we're going to weld it. So me and Adam go off to the fairgrounds and steal a welder. They knew it. We didn't actually steal it, but they were gracious enough. So we grabbed a welder. Then Jake's trying to weld 3 different types of metal.
Yeah, you're trying to you're trying to weld cast iron, a cast iron hub, to a hardened steel axle.
Yep.
And the plate is hardened steel too. It was it was doomed.
It was
covered in grease. Yeah. Covered in oil.
Yeah, and you're welding that thing that's covered in brake cleaner because you're trying to clean it and flames everywhere. But give credit to Jake for trying it. In the end, we're well, let's just pull the thing. We had a tractor there, let's just pull the thing. So it worked out fine. We got done basically at the same time with watering. Everything worked out, maybe a few minutes behind.
Yep.
But
it just goes to show, I think that was kind of your guys' motto. If it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen on Outlaws.
Yeah, it was always effing Outlaws was our saying, and that wasn't the exact way, but that's what we're gonna say for this podcast. Always effing Outlaws. It's just always something goes wrong, and you just got to be ready for it. And when things like that go wrong, you don't panic.
No.
You figure out, what are my options? What can I do? And let's do something.
Yep.
Like I said, either do the right thing, the wrong thing, or
nothing.
But don't do nothing.
Yeah.
Right? Don't do nothing. Try something. So, and that's what we did. And we got it going. Everything was fine. So, but it always is a challenge when the Outlaws are in town because it's a totally different. You prep the racetrack completely different. Not to mention we had 305 sprint cars, so it was all sprint cars. So you put as much water you can down in that track as you can.
And you're also, I feel like another challenging side of it, and a lot of people maybe don't quite understand or even know, you're at the mercy of them.
Yeah.
They run their show, and you're there to do whatever they say.
Pretty much. And there's not a lot of communication either.
No.
Like, we don't share radios. They might occasionally pop on ours, but we're not listening to theirs, so we don't know what they're doing. They got a race director that's kind of rolling around a little bit, and he'll provide feedback. And the SLS guys down there chiming in here and there, and we're kind of communicating. But someone comes down, hey, we need this water. And I'm like, well, we can't do that right now. Like, we just have to hold on, and so you just gotta hope they'll work with you when you have a crisis like that.
Yeah.
And which they did, and they were great, and they figured something out in the meantime because they needed the back area watered so they can do motor heat, and it's they require a lot, and they require a lot of but it is their show.
Yep, and you're always on TV time.
Yep, and when you don't do what they say, you get in trouble, or they will tell you. I got yelled at a little bit. I messed up, and I misunderstood something. You're not allowed to push sprint cars with a four-wheeler when they're in town. When they're in town, you do not. And I thought it was just for their cars and not the 305. Someone needed engine heat. No one was coming to help this guy, so I went and did it. And then Nick pulled me aside and said, "No, you don't do that."
Oh.
And luckily it wasn't one of their guys that saw, because then it probably would have been a lot more yelling. And it's happened with other guys too. But so you do not push with a four-wheeler.
Really?
Yep. So it's a safety thing. And that's the thing. You have to go by their safety standards, right? And so even though we're on our own insurance and other things like that, you go by their protocol. So really you just stay out of the way. When their show's on the racetrack, don't bother. Like, just let them do their thing. Like, you're really not doing anything.
Because they bring their own crew and safety crew and all that stuff, right?
Yep. And I think they use the West Fargo. There was a safety crew, but also the West Fargo Rural Fire was there too to help. So I think they were part of it as well.
Sure.
But normally they have their own crew and whatnot. But yeah, so you're kind of at their mercy, and you do what they say, and that's it. There was a time when the 305s need to go to staging. Nick was in the infield, and they would not allow anyone out of that infield during qualifying. So Nick needed to go back to sound the horn and tell 305s get in staging. The guy would not, and said, "No, you're not going." Like, would not allow him to cross, even though there was a time he could have easily whipped across.
Yep.
But they're saying, "No, you do not." So then there was some yelling and things, and they finally, eventually it happened. And but so the TV time thing is interesting. So we were a few minutes behind, and they asked, like, "Hey, how long is it going to be before you're ready?" Well, we're about 5 minutes out. It probably needed more work after that 5 minutes. We were still on the track packing. They just pushed the sprint cars out. They pushed them onto the
really?
They pushed them out.
We're going, here we are.
They pushed them into the infield to get staged, and no, we're going. Like, that's the thing. And initial thought was like, well, yeah, you're going to run a hot laps, and it's not going to be nowhere near enough. So you're going to run that hot lap session 4 times before they're ready. Like, and maybe you have to park them and then run them again. So you're going to waste time. But it's TV time, so it's content. So they just needed to get on air and start talking, and have cars on the track. They needed cars on the track, and so that's a big deal. I mean, Dirt Vision is huge. I mean, they run a great production.
See, it's moments like that where we need like a rodeo clown.
Yeah.
Mike Honcho could have been there.
God dang it.
So
yeah, it's really different. And yeah, so we are in charge of the 305s. The last year when we had last year I was up in the flag stand, and Jason was the flag man again for that one. So we swapped places, but I didn't have an outlaw radio, so I just kind of handed flags, and he did or whatever. So like you'd have to go back and forth with different radios and stuff, and everything. So it was, I don't know. They can be difficult to work with.
Yep.
But they have high standards. They put on a hell of a show.
Yep.
And there's a reason why they're the premier sprint car, or why they're one of the premier. So they have high expectations. It's their way or the highway, and that's just kind of the way it is.
Yep.
And you just expect it. You can argue about it all day long, but it doesn't do anything.
Yep.
It's just the way it goes. And it's fine. And once you kind of come to accept that, it's fine.
It'll be fine.
It's
just
fine.
effing outlaws.
Which, yeah, it sucks when things go wrong and you have to
Then
explain.
it's your fault.
Then it's
Yeah.
our fault. It
Yeah.
makes us look bad. That's the thing. When anytime something goes wrong, it's always on the track side. Now, that's Outlaw Sprint Cars. Outlaw Late Models is a little different. I feel like it's weird that they're the same company, right? They're the
same parent company.
Same parent company, but they're two different crews and kind of two different attitudes a little bit. Where they're much easier to work with, much more laid back, and I know their staffing's kind of changed over the last couple years or so too. So I don't know if that's going to be the same this year, but they're very good to work with. But again, still them. It's their show. It's their show. So
you're always on. Well, it's TV time. That's what the whole thing depends on. But yeah, it I don't know, hopefully we get more fans maybe for the go out and support the August show. And
that's just it.
If you missed out on that one, I think you missed out on a good race. But
what's cool about Fargo is they talk all this love goes towards River Cities, but West Fargo, the Red Valley Speedway, has is it the third most outlaw races or fifth most outlaw races of any track? Way more than River Cities does. Again, not trying to knock on River Cities, but just trying to give us a little subtle brag here, or a little brag that Red Valley Speedway has hosted a lot of World of Outlaw shows for a very long time, since the beginning, I believe. So, I remember back in the days when there was TNN. And this is before your time. Do you even know what TNN is?
I don't.
The Nashville Network. It later became Spike.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So, and then it became the Man Channel, and then eventually went away. But back when it was TNN, there was all kinds of racing stuff that they'd have on, or different types of things, and the World of Outlaws was on that. So it was so cool to see the World of Outlaws and Red River Valley Speedway, on national TV.
See, I remember being a little kid and Speed Network.
Yep, Speed Network.
Speed Network. They had.
I think that might have been part of the mix too.
Yeah, maybe they had.
It might have become
shows
TNN
on.
then Speed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that was Speed Network. That one was good. Bring that one back.
I miss Ralph Shaheen.
Yes, I was just gonna say that. Yeah.
Oh, he as the voice of the Outlaws back in the day, and the voice of Supercross.
Yeah.
And all these.
I still enjoy.
Bear Jackson or Meekum or one of those that he might still do.
Yeah.
But man, Ralph Shaheen was one of my idols. As a person who loves announcing and things like that, such a good voice. It's so good.
I still enjoy watching Supercross because I think he still does Supercross.
I don't know.
Maybe he doesn't.
Maybe he does, or maybe he does some. But it's and they switched 1 year of Supercross to some British guy, and it was it's not the same. Or
No.
Even NASCAR's gone to some Australian guy. It's not so bad or whatever on one of their ones, but it's weird. But yeah, Ralph Shaheen's the man. We need because he was announcing for everything at the time, and he was the voice of the dirt track racing game too. I think.
Oh yeah.
His voice was on that too, as the World of Outlaw game and stuff. His voice was in there too. So.
Yeah, I wonder if he'd grow a mustache.
Yeah, I don't know.
He'd probably be able to rock one.
You should get Pat Dorr to sign your mustache when he comes to town. If he ever comes
If
to
he
town.
comes to the Outlaws, maybe.
You probably get him at the sites.
Oh yeah.
My
Hopefully
favorite
then
photo.
I'll have it.
And I have it saved. I stole it from the photographer. I emailed him to see if I could buy it because I wanted to buy it. But there's a photo of Pat Dorr walking through the pits and giving the middle finger, and I'm at the camera. I'm that is textbook Pat Dorr.
Yep.
That is So I still have yet to get it printed out, but I want that in my office. Just Pat Dorr giving the middle finger.
That should be on a T-shirt.
That should be on a T-shirt. Speaking of T-shirts, maybe this is before your time too. Do you remember the Big Johnson racing shirts?
I remember Corey Drips in the Big Cock Chassis.
Okay.
Yeah, the Big Cock Chassis. I remember those T-shirts.
And I don't know if I don't think it was related to Mitch Johnson. Maybe Mitch Johnson had his own, but there was always the Big Johnson something for everything. I think they had it for football, all kinds of different novelty different things, but Big Johnson fishing or something but I remember those shirts because of course back then all the shirts were white.
Yeah.
Because why wouldn't you wear a white shirt to a racetrack? But with the chicks in the bikinis on the race car or whatever, and Big Johnson Racing, those were the cool shirts back in the day.
We should see if someone will sponsor some to the Pit Pass podcast.
Yeah.
And we could just rock them one day.
We could do our own T-shirts and we could do a throwback to them or something.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, we'll have to do that. We have to find someone that's good at T-shirts.
I think we know some designers, anyways.
Yeah.
But then it's got to be white. No, I can't wear white T-shirts because I will get them dirty.
Oh, I sweat right through them.
Yeah. Well,
I look at white, can't do it. Haley, oh, bless her soul, bought me white tennis shoes once. Right. Mm-hmm. First time I ever wore them, I think I smoked a brisket or smoked a pork butt or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we were gonna have everyone over, and I was like, I'm not like dressed up, but I had nice clothes on, right? Had my white tennies or like my white or dudes, right? Greatest shoe on earth. Had my white dudes on, grabbed this pork butt or whatever it was, or brisket off the smoker, had it in the pan, spilt it all over my white dudes.
Oh.
First time I ever wore them. Can't do it. Props to people that can wear white at a racetrack, because I can't.
So even like growing up, like speaking of like race shirts, like this is kind of a cultural thing, I think. Like my dad, like he had some NASCAR shirts and stuff and some racing shirts, but like he would only wear them to like special events. Like that was the nice shirt when he busted out the white Matt Kenseth shirt or whatever, or the white Mark Martin, or like he had a black Matt. When he busted out the NASCAR shirt,
it was nice.
It was like for like a family reunion, right? Like that was. My dad used to rock a good mustache back in the day too.
Really?
So.
I don't know if I'll get to that level yet.
But I always thought that was so funny. But that was my dad's like. But I'm almost kind of the same way because I don't dare wear my race shirts anywhere.
No?
I got like the gray one I got from you. Like now it's like my pit shirt because like the first week I had it, I got that gray one from you a couple years ago. Stain right in the middle.
Aww.
Got some sort of grease stain, right? I don't know what even from. It's still there and it won't go away. But like I don't want my shirts to get worn, like the good shirts. Like I got, I
wash them and then they start cracking.
Yeah, they start cracking. I don't want to do that. Like, so you got to wear it to a special, like, okay, I'll wear this one to the sights, or I'll wear, big night tonight, I'll wear this shirt.
You know what my favorite shirts are, like right now that I still see? The old airbrushed Mitch Johnson shirts.
Those are sexy.
I still see them like at the racetrack all the time. Or the airbrushed Mitch Johnson shirts. I love them. So
on a similar note, Throwback Night is coming to the Norman County Raceway.
Yeah.
During the fair, the ADA Nationals, which is coming up
ADA Nationals,
June 19th, which is also the Kingpin Clash.
I think so. Yeah, it's the Kingpin Clash.
Is that the Kingpin Clash?
I believe so.
Yep. So wear your throwback, your old racing shirts during that. Like, cool. Let's see your old Mitch Johnson shirts or your Big Johnson racing shirts, or that Matt Kent. I bet you I could find one of my dad's old Matt Kenseth shirts or something. But
I want to dig out. Jake has them. I want to dig out his old, like, race suit, like the old. Like I have a picture of Jake and I when he gave me when it all started. He gave me a 2-seater ride. I was probably 7, 8, maybe. The bright green race suit, like that'd be cool to bring out. I'm not old enough to have throwback gear of my own.
My brother had one. I don't know if he still got it, or I think one of his friends might have it. A Rick's Bar suit. He got it like when he first started racing. I think he got it at just a swap and shop or like a racer's swap meet or something, or just to have a race suit. But it's an old red and white with the Rick's Bar on it.
Oh wow!
And I want to know whose it is. Like I don't know whose race suit that was. I'd be curious to know, but. I think
one of our listeners will know.
Yeah, I think I wore it to like Halloween to school one year or something. Like to be a race car driver, I think I wore that's awesome. That race suit.
That's like back, whenever it was or whatever, like back in the old half-mile days, right? Because that's like the era that you refer to in Fargo. Like if you had a beer sponsor, like that was a big deal. I mean, if you had Coors Light or Miller Lite or like. Whenever, like, especially in the store, people come in, you always hear stories, and, like, that's part of why I love my job. Like, you always hear the cool stuff, like, and that's, and people always remember all the small details, like, God, I remember when we unloaded that car back in 1994, and we had the old McCreary's on there, like, or the Dirt Bosses, like, they remember all that stuff. But then people remember who had the beer sponsorship each year. Like, this guy had the Bud Light one this year. This one had, like, that was a big deal, I think some of that is cool. Like just
So, and that's, I wish that we, like, I know we had Fargo Brewing that sponsored Schultz
Yep.
and Heinrich there, and of course that went under, but
R.I.P. Kenny's Lemonade.
oh, it's such a great beer.
greatest
It's a great
beer.
beer.
A moment of
A
silence.
moment of silence.
And we're back.
So you lost the beer sponsor, and now it's like, we need to get a new one. Like, we need to get the new brewery like, they should have a car out there, right?
Yeah.
Like, so if you had a beer sponsor, who would it be? Like, if you could pick one out.
Oh, I've always said from day one, when I was at the Gateway Dirt Nationals for the first time, Timmy Current, right? He owns like a few race cars and sponsors guys. He's kind of down by Iowa. He had 4 cars, 4 modifieds in that race. 1 car completely wrapped in Budweiser. 1 car completely wrapped in Twisted Tea. 1 car completely wrapped in Bud Light, I think it was. And then I think the other one was Miller Lite. He had 4 modifieds.
Wow.
And I saw that, and me as an avid Arnold Palmer connoisseur, okay, I can tell you the different batches. I've drank enough of them. I know when to buy them and when not to buy them. That's how much I've tested the waters with Arnold Palmer. I will do a spiked Arnold Palmer wrap.
Okay.
If Arizona will sponsor me.
My thoughts for your car, because it would fit perfectly. A nice grain belt logo would look really good on that race car. I don't know if you're a grain belt guy. It's not for everyone.
I don't know. Actually, I can't say if I ever actually have. I've drank like Michelob Golden Light. I like that. That's all right.
That's one of my go-tos.
God, but grain belt, I'd have to try it.
I think, it's a Minnesota beer. So Mick Golden Light is essentially a Minnesota beer anyways, because you can only get it here. But like Grain Belt, they sponsor one of the pro walleye fishermen that I watch on TV. Mm-hmm. John Hoyer. Well, why not a professional race car driver?
Maybe we'll get the right person on here.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get the right listener and hook us up.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've got any friends in the brewery industry or the beer industry?
And will someone please figure out Kenny's Lemonade? I mean, can I buy the recipe or something? I'm
sure you can, because like the only other one that compares to Summer Shandy. It's either Summer Shandy or Kenny's, and I've never had a lemon tasted beer or like a lemon beer that's anywhere close to those two.
No. I really miss Kenny's Lemonade. Andrew, my buddy Andrew Jokum.
Yep.
Right? Him and I love Kenny's Lemonade, okay? Like, when we found out that they went out of business, we were we were shattered, right? Like, we had to be scooped up off the floor. Okay, it was like 2 weeks of just like depression that we weren't gonna have Kenny's Lemonade. His aunt or whoever found the last 2 6-packs in existence.
Really?
Yeah.
I should be on the lookout, because you never know. You might find them in like a random bar somewhere.
Well, if you find them, like, buy them.
Okay.
If anyone else finds them, buy them, and I will purchase them.
I might have some old ones in my fridge still from like a year ago.
Oh.
2 years ago.
Yeah, see, I kept one.
Okay.
I kept one for a special occasion, just in case, if you're really having a bad day, Kenny's Lemonade, turning you around.
I like that. So we need beer sponsors.
We need beer sponsor. We got the pizza.
We got
the pizza hammered down.
Yep.
Beer sponsor would be good. So if anyone's out there.
And now just like a 12-pack a week, right? For after the races.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
And you're not much of a drink of beer after the race guy anyways, are you? Maybe one or?
No, depends. Depends on what I have going on the next day.
Yeah, that's true. When you got to get up early and you got to get the car home and all that. I like to have a beer or two after the races most nights.
Yep.
Even if it's late, like when you, especially after announcing, because your adrenaline gets so, like, it's crazy. You can eat all you want, but you're always hungry at the end of the race.
Yep.
Like, it's adrenaline. You're sitting there. While in Ada, you're running up and down the stairs doing interviews and things like that. But it's I don't know. I get so worked up, so much adrenaline, where I need the ears to stop ringing. Not that it's loud. It's just so much noise and activity and things and bad hearing and years of abuse on my ears. Those got to stop ringing. So, like, usually I just need a couple beers after the race just to bring my heartbeat, just to bring everything down, right? Like, just to relax,
slow down,
so I can get to sleep, right? Yep. So it's difficult, but
I got a couple. Yeah, I usually don't drink. Maybe if I win, I'll have a beer. So I guess I should make up for that. I haven't had one this year. But, like, World of Outlaw late models, like, we're partying.
Okay.
It's happening.
So I better get to camping spot then.
Come on over. Yep. I screwed up. I let God dang Jello Wrestling go, and I apologize to everyone. I dropped the ball. All right, Nick, Jake, sorry, but you know what? That's all right. We're partying. Stampede. That's another good one at the end of the year.
Yeah, and the sites was always a good one too.
Yes.
Because you get Little Canada.
Oh, absolutely.
Have you ever been to Little Canada? Are you familiar with it?
I fear to tread the water of Little Canada because I know once you go in there, you're not coming out sober.
Yep. It's really cool because they like horseshoe or like kind of lock in the bunch of campers and you're drinking, having a good time. And
they did a cookout at Little Canada.
Yeah,
last
so
year.
they usually do. They get a stick.
Yeah.
They hand you a stick and people just come around with food and you grab it take your little skewer and you can tip the guys whatever. There's a tip jar up front, but sometimes the drivers are cooking, stuff like that. Sometimes the drivers are partying. You see some guys, and I'm not going to name names, but it's like, you're going to be rough in the morning. like this heat race is going to suck tomorrow. Yeah.
Their experience, though.
Yeah.
That's one thing about Canadians I've learned and I've been taught. You don't try to outdrink Canadians.
No.
You don't hang with them. You don't.
No.
You stick to your standard American pace.
And you have pride because you're a Minnesotan.
Yes.
And you're a small town Minnesotan, and you think you can drink pretty good.
You can't.
You can't.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, don't try to pace yourself, Canadians. This is like a PSA right now.
Yeah.
Like, stay safe out there. Look out for Canadians. They're great people. They'll suck you in. They'll get you hammered.
Wisconsins are kind of the same way too, Wisconsinites.
Oh, yeah.
So you had some cousins that would always come up for racing. They'd come up watch the Outlaws. But it's like those guys can start drinking at 10 in the morning, not quit till 3, and still be sober enough to drive home. I don't know. I don't get it. It's just...
Speaking of beers, like Minnesota beers, it's too bad we aren't from Wisconsin because,
Spotted Cow?
I do enjoy Spotted Cow.
Spotted Cow's pretty good.
Spotted Cow is all right. I think we should actually try for the Grain Belt or Golden Light or something. I think we should try for that next year. That'd be awesome.
I think a big golden wrap would be pretty cool.
I think we should. We should, yeah.
A golden car.
Yeah, we'll really put that one high on the radar next year. But Spotted Cow, I mean, you could do so much with that. But yeah.
All right. What else do we want to touch on here? Anything else we want to touch?
We kind of got into everything.
We did. The last 15 minutes got pretty wild.
Yeah. Thanks for all sticking with us. We kind of went on a couple tangents there, but
so hopefully we'll get back into this. So just a kind of preview of what's to come here. We got World of Outlaw late models coming up in Ada here end of the month. The hope is to get some drivers or something with that. Yep. To really get to learn more about an Outlaw team. So hopefully someone from the Outlaws or a driver, and maybe it's not a super long interview. Who knows? But I really want to try and sneak that in there. Does anytime you get cool guys like that in our backyard,
I think one that would be really cool is like Devin Moran.
Yep.
He's young enough. He's new enough to it. He's young enough to it. He has a good understanding about it. I think he would be fun to get on. Steve Francis, I think that would be cool.
I think it'd be really cool, Steve Francis, from the promoter perspective.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's a Hall of Fame late model driver, right? He was one of my favorites growing up. I have one of his diecast. I'm going to have him sign it probably if I do. But I have one of, I've always been a big fan of his, his Mopar car back in the day. Mopar, that was such a cool car. But, yeah, I think it'd be cool to get both that perspective and how he's kind of turned that Outlaw tour around.
Yes.
He went from the names weren't great, and there was kind of the second fiddle in the touring series, to being the touring series, and you got 20 guys following it, and great paying races, and just putting on amazing shows, and you have the Lucas versus Outlaw battle, and it's a lot of times it's dead even as far as Bobby Pierce would win this one or Davenport would win that one or whatever, you could go back and forth all day long on who's better, but in the end, they're both amazing series.
Oh, yeah. Lots of talent. And
yeah. We got lots of locals running them and stuff, and I think we'll have Ebert runs the Lucas Oil, but he'll be in Ada.
Yeah, I think he'll be in Ada.
So that'll be cool. He's kind of coming on strong here recently. He's getting
stuff figured out.
And that's going to take a while. So I'd like to hear from him, too. What's finally clicking? How hard is it to really compete with these guys, right? The guy that's was one of the best modified guys in the country. And,
I think it would also be cool to break down the roles of each team. Like in a sprint car team, right? Like you have your tire guy, okay?
Yep.
Then you have a car chief.
Yep.
You have a crew chief, and then you have like the team chief or whatever,
Yep.
that's over everything. So you have one guy that's like in charge of the car. Like I wonder if the late models have that.
I think I noticed that Erod had like posted for jobs, and he had like 3 full-time jobs. Like how do you get 3 full-time jobs like in this? But that's crazy that at that level, you know.
And it is. I mean,
like,
you look at them guys, they're working.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all the time. They're always at it. But I think that would be cool. So, yeah, we'll definitely have to get some good content for our listeners. And, yeah.
All right. Well, this has been good. I'm glad we got back. Sorry to our fans that it took a little while to get this one going, but it's been busy. Kalvin's been winning, and the lucky lip sweater will stay for now.
Yeah, keep your eyes out for merch. Oh, speaking of merch, I got new merch.
Oh, sweet.
T-shirts are in. Showed
Sweet.
up today.
Awesome.
Get your Kalvin Kesselberg shirt.
Good deal. I think I pre-ordered some.
I think you did.
I
Yeah.
think so. All right. Well, we'll sort that out. Thanks for listening. Pit Pass Podcast. We are on YouTube and Spotify. Like us on Facebook. Follow. Tell your friends all about it. Comment on anything we talked about here today, as long as you're not cussing too bad, or whatever. Just comment and have some fun. Share it, and tell your friends about the Pit Pass Podcast. We'll see you soon.